everybody. It's the 10th of March today, and a couple of days ago I was looking out the kitchen window and thought, what's all that green above the top of the pond? As I look out of the window I could see this sort of green floating about. Turns out it was these pieces of weeping willow that I'd put in to fuse as a project. I'd sunk into the side of the pond in a pot a couple of years ago, and pretty much forgot about since then. I think they were pruned the first year. Okay, so I got the tree and a whole lot of root, and by the look of it a couple of suckers there as well, out of the pond. That's going to free up a lot of space for the fish that live in the pond. I think it's been in there 2 or 3 years. I've gone and chopped it back a couple of times, but otherwise pretty much forgot it. It's going to be interesting to see, once I pull out all the moss, what the trunk looks like. It'll be my only weeping willow, although I've got a number of other species of willow. But yeah, I'm going to just leave this on the grass here by the side of the pond for a couple of days in case there's any creepy crawlies or anything that lives in the pond, so that they can crawl back to the water. And then later in the week, see if we can find the pot that it's in. So I believe it was in a pond planter. See what I can discover. Okay, so it's 14th of March, a few days later than we last saw this, and any newts or frogs or whatever that might have been hiding in the roots, I've had an opportunity to hopefully get out and get back to the pond. We have got a lot of frogs spawning in the pond, so hopefully they're all not been too disturbed too much by me pulling this beastie out. The next thing I'm going to do is use this old pruning saw that I keep just for root work. Very rusty. I don't want to get my fingers cut with this beast, but I'm going to try and cut away all these excess roots and those couple of suckers, which I'm going to try and save. Okay, so try and find the edge of the pot. Right, well, I'm gonna try and separate these suckers from all that vegetation later. For now, I think I've got most of this stuff off. Which means I'm going to be able to get it onto the bench to have a look at it. But I also want to get rid of some of this top growth to make it a bit more manageable. Seems a shame to lose some of this top growth when it's just beginning to weep over, but I need to make this something or somewhat smaller if it's going to make a convincing bonsai. So I'm going to remove a lot of the top, keep some of the branching. I don't think I want this piece. But I do want to keep that. So, not sure what's on camera and what isn't at this point. Hopefully it's not my ugly backside. Terribly long straight piece. But I think if we chop it here, maybe it'll branch. Okay, that makes it a little bit more manageable. Let's get it onto the bench and in the potting tray so that I can clean the rest of this moss and things off. Okay, now I just want to try and get all of this moss and stuff off of this tree, so we can actually see what we got. Loads of root. Root and pondweed and all sorts. Well, I'm getting down to quite a chunky root base. I'm thinking it's going to be the devil's own job to get this pot off, but without doing myself a mischief. Okay, I'm going to spare you any more misery. Back with the saw. So, interesting. Now this it's going to need to go in quite a deep pot, I think, and it's going to need quite a thick what are my words am I saying, trying to, I don't know, a thicker, heavier, more organically based substrate, compost, call it what you will, than my other trees, and I think I'll probably end up sitting it in a tray of water throughout the summer months, particularly if we have a summer like last summer with those very hot temperatures. Do I want to keep it as a double trunk? No, I think I might, except I don't like this piece, but I do like that piece. So, I wonder if when I remove that, like so, and that dead piece, and that dead piece, you've got a piece of wire on that. In fact, it's trying to be a triple trunk, so again I could live with that. I don't actually think I've got a triple trunk tree. I have two pieces here. I'm just going to remove that one. Okay, I think what I'm going to need to do is connect up the hose pipe and wash as much of this massive, well, it's just roots from the weed, the moss and the pondweed mainly. We can get rid of some of that first. And I do have a pot this could go in, that I purchased for my wisteria, and I've since changed my mind about using for the wisteria. Yeah, let's hose it off. Cooper, you're nuts. Oh, worst throw ever. I'll just see if it'll fit. Pretty much. We need to take a bit off the bottom, I think. But otherwise, yes, it will. So I've shortened the root base by using that old sword, cut a big chunk off the base, and I'm thinking I like this as my front, with the trunk slightly leaning to the right and back up. I'm wanting to lose this branch, which now doesn't please my eye, and so, as I've often said, I have to look at it every day, so it's got to please my eye most. I'll start by getting rid of that and nibble it back some more. That's better. Okay, and then what's on camera, what isn't on camera. Maybe that slightly. I'm going to shorten that piece. Like so. And then I'm not really happy with this either. Almost as much as the cutters could bear, but they did it, so that's good. Just clean that up a little, and then I can put a bit of wire on that. You know what? The thought goes on as the thought goes on, and now I'm not even sure I like any of this section. I'm wondering whether I take it off. That saw's not going to manage it. Somewhere I've got a brand new one of these for top work, but do you think I can find it right now? I'm going to try and use this little coping saw. Okay, that's going to need a little bit of cleaning up, as you can imagine, but it should heal relatively nicely. I'll do the rest off camera, and I think that's going to give the tree a better sense of symmetry. Okay, so I'm going to need to clean some of these roots away. grown above the original pot level, and thus expose this secondary trunk, like so. Still a bit of that pernicious moss weed in there. Better. Okay, and I've taken the liberty off camera of just wiring these second and third trunks into a slightly more pleasing shape. And now we'll see about getting it into that pot. So I've made up a completely separate substrate for this tree. This has got a lot more organic matter in it, which will hold a lot more moisture. Obviously, as I said, it being a weeping willow, it will need the extra moisture. Am I concerned that this pot might make it through next winter? Because it's exactly the same as the pot I had by Wisterian that cracked this winter. A little, but I only paid $10.99 for it, and I will wrap it in bubble wrap next winter when the tree is dormant, and put it in the shed or something, now that I'm aware that this type of pot isn't entirely frost-proof. Forewarned is forearmed and all that. So, drainage screens in the bottom. Start to apply some of this mix, and then we'll see about putting the tree in. I'm still going to have to remove a little bit more root. I took enough off the bottom, but not enough off the sides. A little bit off the back as well. These chunkier, thicker roots that are actually stopping the tree from seating all the way down. In fact, I'm going to take that lump off. I can find my cutters that I keep for root work, and yes, I do have a pair that I just keep for root work. I left them out in the rain, they went rusty, and so they became the root work cutters. Okay, I think I'll take that off as well. Hopefully that will now sit in there. Another big chunk needs to come off there once it's had a chance to recover. Okay, so fill it in, and this stuff doesn't flow as well as my regular mix, so it's going to take a bit more time and patience, making sure, because I've got gaps between these roots, that I've got no air pockets. I will continue on with this, and we'll have another look once it's done. Okay, so giving it a good drink. Let's pop the can in for scale. Water's flowing through quite nicely, but it's also going to hold quite a lot of moisture, this mix, so that's good. And now, as for the top, I'm gonna chop it there. I'm gonna chop it there. It seems such a shame to have lost all those already sweet weeping branches that it had before, but I think this gives it a good setup. So let's give you a quick 360, because this has turned out to be a longer video than I expected it to be. And all that remains is to say thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting below, but most of all, please stay safe, everybody.